Hi everyone, and welcome to the workshop, The Hitchhiker's Guide to KNIME Analytics Platform version 5. I'm Schalk, I'm from the evangelism team, and I'm joined here by two of my colleagues, and I'm going to quickly ask them just to say hi, so they also get their tongues loose, get the nerves out. So let's start with the lovely lady over here.
So hi everyone, I'm Elisabeth, happy to be here today.
Thanks, Lisa.
Hello everyone, I'm Emilio, happy and excited to be here today on this stage actually.
Thanks, Emilio. Okay, so you heard from Michael, having a workshop at the summit is kind of a new thing, so bear with us. So in order to just set the expectations correctly for this workshop, let's ask a couple of questions. So first of all, what is it about? Now you've heard already in the title, it's about KNIME Analytics Platform version 5. But that's not all. It's an early access release, which means it comes with a starter perspective. Okay? Who is this workshop for? Just to make sure that everyone's on the same page. So since it's the starter perspective, it's for beginners and for advanced spreadsheet users. And maybe for those who are curious to have a little bit of a comparison between the old version and the new one, just so that we're all on the same page. So we said already it's about KNIME Analytics Platform 5. Who is it for? Why are we speaking about the starter perspective, right? So this is really crucial to understand our talk today. And the first thing has to do with the new UI UX. You all have heard about it. You'll see it in action now. And the reason for this is it allows you to build your first workflow quite easily. And it gets you used to the low-code, no-code analytics environment. So for your beginners or your advanced spreadsheet users, it helps you to ease into building a workflow, and then you can prepare your data very quickly and effectively. And this is the second big reason, with a dedicated set of nodes. So stay tuned for those. They're coming up. And finally, why is this important, the new version 5? This really helps to lower the barrier of adaptation of analytics in big companies. And this is really to do with the better access, the ease of use, etc. Okay, so that's kind of what it's about. I hope we're on the same page. If this is not for you, feel welcome to leave. But if this is for you, stay tuned because we are ready to go. So for today, we have also prepared some roles for the workshop to kind of make it interesting. I'll be playing the beginner, the spreadsheet user, the newbie to KNIME, Lisa over here. She will be our KNIME Analytics Platform version 5. It's nice to say the whole thing, right, every time. KNIME 5 expert. And Emilio here will be our experienced KNIME user, especially familiar with version 4.7. Okay, you ready, guys? Let's do it. Okay, so Lisa, I've heard that you can probably help me, right? I'm new to KNIME. I've been doing a lot of stuff in spreadsheets. But before you show me the whole platform and everything, let's just take a step back and just ask the first question. What is KNIME? Okay? And if I now download this new version 5 that everyone's talking about, if I open it for the first time, what can I expect to see?
All right. So I would say let's start from the beginning here. What is KNIME Analytics Platform version 5? Well, it's KNIME Analytics Platform version 5 as a visual programming tool with which you can do stuff like data analysis, data manipulation. You can do visualizations and plot things, or especially relevant maybe for you, it also eases spreadsheet tasks. So when I say visual programming tool, I mean we're in a no-code, low-code environment here. What you see on the slide here is the KNIME workbench. So this is what you will be working with, and in there you will be building your workflows. So what we have in this no-code, low-code environment are those little colored boxes, which we call nodes, and nodes perform tasks on your data. And each node performs one specific task. Now you see there's some data that is going into the node is doing something with your data, and then outputs this data again. And by putting many nodes together into one workflow and connecting them with each other, you are step-by-step building your workflow, and basically node-by-node building a workflow. But I think instead of just showing you tons of screenshots on a slide, why not just moving on to KNIME Analytics Platform version 5, and I actually show you around the interface. Right, so I'm opening the KNIME Analytics Platform here.
Maybe.
I'm seeing it. Can the people see it?
No, it's interesting.
Just a technical error. As you understand. You know, we are beginners here, so that's okay. At least I am. So.
See it there. But that's
Yeah, you can see it there. Well, that's a small screen. Oh. All right. Just bear with
Otherwise,
me a second. Ooh.
oh, there we go.
All right, okay.
Well done.
Now, when you open KNIME Analytics Platform, you don't see a black screen, you actually see this. This is what we call the entry page. This is, yeah, the starting page, so to say. Up here we have a couple of example workflows for quick accessing. And if you scroll down a little bit, you see the local space panel here. Now, the local space, what is that? That is basically a folder on your computer, on your machine, where KNIME stores all the files and workflows. Now, if you click on this panel, you have the chance to browse through all your files or your workflows and open existing workflows if they already exist. Or if you want to create a new workflow, you click on this yellow button, and then you are asked to name your workflow. What I will now just do. No, not with a typo. Let's say, aha, the American. My first workflow. I'm not a perfect typer. All right, and then you see this. This is the workbench. This is the screenshot I've just shown to you before. And in here, where you don't see anything right now, where the empty workflow is your workflow editor. And here you can now start building your workflow by adding nodes to the workflow. The nodes, you find them here on the left in the node repository. So here, those three panels, those side panels here. The middle one is the one for the node repository. And in the node repository, you find all the available nodes. They are divided into different categories. You see them here, those tags. For example, you have nodes for data reading and data exporting. You have nodes for data manipulation, some views, and so on. Now, I would suggest, to show you a little bit more, to just actually open a spreadsheet. Let's say we want to read or open, let's say, an Excel file.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's just do that. If you want to add one of those nodes from the node repository into your workflow, you can just do it by drag and dropping, and then it appears here. What we now have to do is we have to configure this node. So we have to tell KNIME basically where this file is that we want to read in. So let me just do that. So let's say I have it saved somewhere on my desktop or so. So I just go to my local file system, and let's say this is the file that I want to show you. So I've prepared this Excel file here. If I select a path, here at the bottom you see a preview. Then you can click OK, and you can execute the node. Now, here at the bottom, you now see how this table or how this Excel file does now look like in form of this KNIME table. So the data I've prepared here is just some example data, which contains some information about athletes that participated in these Olympic Summer Games. We have some personal information about the athletes, like their name, their gender, and their date of birth. But also we have information in which edition of the Olympic Summer Games they participated. So we see here we have those are quite old data. So we have information from the 1920 Summer Games, but we can also scroll all the way down to the end of our data table and see, okay, the latest entry is from the 2020 Summer Olympics.
Nice, Lisa. So it kind of makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, we have the blocks there. I see the data flowing and stuff. But here's a question to you. So I was seeing the node, right? And then had these lights at the bottom that were moving up and down. What is that all about?
Well, good catch. So the lights indicate the node's status. So a node in KNIME Analytics Platform can have 4 different statuses. It can be not configured, configured, successfully executed, and failed. Now, let me show you how that works. So let's just imagine, so as I said, we have this information about athletes. And let's just say, for whatever reason, we want to investigate only female athletes. So we want to remove all the data rows where the gender equals the value male. So what we can do to do this is we can add this row filter node here to our workflow. And then we have to connect the Excel reader to the row filter node. And now you see there is this red traffic light. And red means the node is not configured. This means if you hover over the node and you see those buttons up here, the second button from the left is a button for executing the node. It is not possible to click, so it is grayed out. And this is because the node is not configured yet. So what we do, we go to the first button because that opens the configuration window. Now what we want to do, we need to tell the node when or which data rows to include and which to exclude, and we want to include those rows where the gender equals the value female. Now, this is what we do when we configure a node. We click OK, and now we see the light is yellow. And yellow means we are good to go. We can click the execution button. And if we do that and it's green, that's even better, because that means we executed the node successfully. And you can also see now here at the bottom that in this gender column, we only have females left. In case you did something wrong, no worries, you would definitely notice that, because you would see a red X instead of this green light, and it would also tell you what went wrong.
Okay, I think I got this. So red is no and green is go. Okay, but wait, there's another thing here. So here at the bottom, right, I see the table, I see the sheet. Now this looks kind of familiar to you, right? So here's the question. How does this sheet there differ from a normal spreadsheet?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. So there are two things that come to my mind, actually. Let's see if that answers your question. So one thing would be, in KNIME Analytics Platform, you can see your data evolve at each operation. So due to this no-code, low-code, or visual programming environment that we have here, and due to the fact that each node is doing or having its own task, you can actually see how the data evolves from node to node. This is very helpful because you can build very complex workflows, and you can still track down or trace back errors because you actually see when a node is failing. So you definitely know which one is the one responsible for not executing, or for the workflow not executing. Another thing, another big difference is that in KNIME Analytics Platform, you don't work within the file directly. So with that, I mean that you can do multiple different operations or tasks to your data within the same workflow. So there is no need for you to make a copy of this file or to create a second workflow. You can just add a bunch of new nodes and basically add them as a second branch, so that both tasks are done simultaneously or in parallel, let's say in parallel. So just to demo you that, let's say we want to split our data table into two parts. One part containing all the information about the Summer Olympics that happened in the 1900s, and the second part of the table contains all the newer information for all the games that happened after the turn of the millennium. So to do this, there is a node in KNIME. It's called the table splitter node. And the table splitter node can basically, or in the table splitter node, you need to define a, let's say, a criterion. And based on that criterion, the table is split in those two parts. So in our case, I know that this column, which is called edition, indicates which Olympic Games edition it was. And I just say here now, look in the column edition, and when the search pattern equals this pattern, then there you should split the column, the table. So I just put in summer 2020, Summer Olympics. I say I want to include the matching row in the bottom output table, and now I just hope I didn't make a typo or anything, and you can execute it. And now you see, if we go to our gender column, we now have males included as well, because we did this. We used this table splitter after we read in the initial data set.
Okay, I'm getting it. Finally, I think. So you can do a lot of things. You can track your operations, right? That's the one thing. And you can do complex things. You can build all kinds of different, what do you call it, workflows. And I'm starting to get it. Okay, so there's a bunch of nodes on the side there. I got that. So now in spreadsheet, when you use spreadsheet, you can Google this, right? There's like this top 5 functions, everyone knows. Is there something similar in KNIME?
Quick answer, yes. So in general, KNIME Analytics Platform, you do have a lot of nodes for data manipulation. And now with this early access version 5, we were even adding additional nodes to simplify or ease even more spreadsheet tasks. So there are a bunch of new nodes. For example, we now have a row aggregator node, which you can use to aggregate data, or we have a cell updater node to update values in a single cell, or for example, we have the value lookup node in case you want to look up a value in a table. So I can just show you one of them. For example, the value lookup, you can just search for it and drag and drop it into your workflow.
Okay, I got you. Kind of start to make a lot of sense to me, but I'm curious. I want to bring Emilio in here, right? So he's now a more experienced KNIME user. Emilio, what do you think?
Yeah, so I've been using KNIME for quite a while now, and I'm pretty impressed about the new UI. I really like the new look and feel. But Lisa, do you have something brand new that you want to show me?
Right. So if you are already experienced with 4.7, you probably have noticed already the new look here. So it basically looks entirely different. More modern. For example, if you're used to the node description being on the right side, you now need to look here on the left side in the panel navigation, and the top panel would be this node description. So the node description basically helps you in case you don't know what the node is doing, or just want to make sure you're using the right node. So you can go to the node description and read its task here. Also, for example, we have this Space Explorer panel down here. You should probably know it as a KNIME Explorer. In here, you browse your existing files, your local file, and you can also go to any other workflow you have and just open it. Now, this here, up here, you can switch between different existing or active workflows, for example, but that's all things you should more or less be aware of already or know. So let's talk about new stuff. So one thing that is new is if you want to search for a node. So what you can do currently is you can go to the node repository, go to the search bar, type in your name of the node. Already. Now you can also do this search by keywords or by tags here. And this is very helpful in case you know roughly what you want to do with your data, but you don't really know the name of the node. So let's say you want to do some sort of, let's say you want to do a group by operation. You know, okay, it's some sort of data manipulation. So you can click on the manipulation tag and it shows you all the results that belong or that are associated with this tag. Now, those are still a lot, so you can further refine your search by clicking, for example, on row or on transform, and then you can see, okay, is that something I want or not? If you clicked something wrong, you can just undo this selection. And another thing, how to search for nodes, which I really like, is via this new quick node adding panel. That's really cool. So you can just drag and drop a node connection to an empty space in your workflow, and if you release it, it will show you this quick note adding panel here. So this is a recommendation of up to 12 notes, which are most frequently used. So those recommendations are based on the usage of other KNIME users. And if you see a node that you would like to add here, so for example, the table cropper node, then you can just click on it and it's added to your workflow, and the node connection is already established. Another thing that is new or different to 4.7, if you click on this, if you want to go back to your entry page or to where we started, you need to click on this home button here. The home button always brings you back. Now we're in our local space again. This is because we have started here, and if you click on the arrow, we're back another level. Now, one last comment. Here in the top right corner, you find the info page. On the info page, you find some useful information. For example, you find the link to the KNIME community forum, which is very, very useful in case you have questions or if you have a problem, you're stuck with it. So whenever you need some advice, it's always good to check out the forum. Also here you find the link to the KNIME Community Hub. So on the KNIME Community Hub, the entire KNIME community shares their work. So you find a lot of example workflows, nodes, extensions, and other material there, not only produced by us, but also by our large KNIME community. So you can also share your work there. Also, you find access to some settings, and you can install extensions here.
Okay, so quite a few new stuff. But can you please open a workflow? Because I have a question. Mm-hmm. For example, if you scroll down, there's the table splitter, and if you click on it, then you see the output of the table splitter. But this node has 2 ports. How can I check the second one?
So you find all the outputs or output tables at the bottom. You just need to switch between the tabs. So you now see the first output port refers to this first tab. The second output port where it says bottom output table is the second table. And also if you use flow variables or work with them, you find an overview in this flow variable tab.
Nice, so everything is there. Nice, I like it. And then the last question is that I saw that there is a link to the community hub, but I'm used to to upload my stuff on the community hub. Can I still do that?
Yes, of course you can still do that. You just go back to your entry page, right? And you scroll all the way past the local space, and there at the bottom you find the KNIME community hub. You can just click on the sign in as it was before, and then all your existing spaces you have appear here at the bottom.
Nice, very nice. I'm pretty curious, actually. Do you mind if I give it a try?
No.
Live.
Please go ahead and let me know if I can help you with anything.
Let's see. So let's open this for first time. So this is the home, and let's try to build first workflow, finally. So I click here, I guess, create new workflow. And let's call it Summit Workflow. So what I have, so I have here the nodes on the right, so I can just drag and drop as I was used to do. But here I have my first question for you, actually. I was used to actually drag and drop files. Is this still possible?
Yes, this is still possible. So as in 4.7, you go to, in your local space, you go to where your file is stored. And then you can just drag and drop it into your workflow.
Let me see. All right, so as I used to do before.
And the nice thing is KNIME then automatically detects the file format. And in the case of a table file, it automatically inserts a table reader. And the file path is already defined, so it is ready to be executed.
So it's here already. Yeah, it already points to the right file, and I have it already there. So that's nothing new. I like this functionality. So let's read some data now. I don't need this Excel reader, but I want to read this sentiment rating, CSV, like this. And now I have the sentiment rating in a nice table with the sentiment, so negative, positive, etc., and a rating from 0 to 5. And then in this other table, actually, I have sentiment associated to a customer key. So I have a bunch of customers, and let's say that today I want to see how satisfied my customers are. So the first task that I want to perform now is to bring together those tables, and I want to associate the sentiment analysis with the sentiment rating in here. For that, I would have actually used a joiner node, but maybe our spreadsheet user has a better idea to do this.
I'm not so sure it's better, but if I recall, Lisa showed us the value lookup node, right? You think we can use that one?
It's a new node, never used, but let's see how it is. The value lookup. So it has 2 input ports, and I guess one is the data table, and the other one is going to be dictionary. Okay. And now we can configure it. So I have to select some lookup column from the data table. Okay, so I just have to select the sentiment analysis and then the sentiment analysis from the 2 tables. And I can see here actually I have even tooltips, so I can see kind of the documentation while configuring this node. That's very nice. And then I guess here I just have to select the output that I want, so which columns I want to import from the dictionary, and it's just gonna be the sentiment rating. So let's see if I configured it correctly. I really like this execution up here on the node. Yes, so I have the customer key, the sentiment analysis, and the sentiment rating in there. Very nice. So let's go blend some data, because now I want to read something from SQLite, so actually from this database. And it works as before. I bring this file and then I read it. And then I have to look for DB nodes. Where are DB nodes? What did you do with it?
First of all, don't panic. They are still there. So this is that you don't see them is due to this starter perspective. So the starter perspective, the idea is that we hide nodes that, or no, let's frame it the other way around, that we only show those nodes that are commonly used by beginners. So to make the onboarding to KNIME Analytics Platform easier for beginners. And for example, for you, since you're already more experienced and know already all the other nodes, you can click on this more advanced nodes button, and then everything is shown there. And maybe for you, it would be something to think about if you could, so there is the option in the settings to enable that all the nodes are shown by default. Okay. So if you are using those nodes a lot, maybe you could think about that.
Nice, good to know. I thought somebody messed up with all my nodes. No, nice. So they are still there, just hidden. So let's look for a DB table selector then, and add it to this and select a table there. What are we going to read? The web activity. Okay. And then I have the DB reader to finally bring this into the workflow. This. And now I have customer key and then the count of their web activity. And finally, one more thing that I want to read is some other web activity from the old system. So again, blending data is quite easy. So I'm reading from 4 different files. That's for my spreadsheet user here who might not trust me, but it's super easy to read from different files. Now I have just them in 2 different tables. I just have to concatenate them. And let me try the quick node adding actually. So from here, right? And I have the concatenate node already there, which gets added. And now I just can bring this. What is this plus here?
So the plus you know from 4.7 as the dynamic ports. So if you click on the plus, you can add additional input ports. And of course, you can then also remove them again.
Nice, handy. Does it also work for component?
Yes.
Wow, amazing. Like it. So let's execute this. And now I have the customer key. And the web activities in here. Maybe I can make it smaller to make it fit. Okay. And then I have again the customer key and the sentiment rating in here. And now I want to finally use a joiner to join them. Is the joiner still there, or did you replace
No. The joiner is still there, and I would recommend using the joiner for more sophisticated join operations, like if you want to do an outer join or an intersection.
Okay, let me add it quickly then. Yes, I want to join those two tables. Yes, I want to add the customer key for the joining, and I also want the unmatched rows. So a bit more complex than the value lookup. And now we have everything joined. I can check the other outputs in here with just a click. That's very nice. And so let's plot something finally. For that, I guess I can use one of the views, probably a bar chart. Let's add it. Click OK. Wow, what is this? I can still see. Amazing. I can see the preview of what I'm configuring. Very nice. And let's give it, I don't know, suffix function, and gets added. Wow, good work. I really like this. I really like this version. Yes. I think I'm gonna update as soon as the summit is finished. But Schalk, what do you think about it? Are you going to download?
Well, I mean, I'm quite impressed. You just build a workflow here, blending data and visualizing it in about 5 minutes. So it seems that, with KNIME, you can do a lot of things. I can also see that a lot of things are integrating here. But there's one big question, Emilio. I'm pretty sure most of the hitchhikers in the audience want to ask you. And it's this. So can KNIME help us figure out the meaning of life, the universe, and everything?
Let me see. I might have something for you. I was actually trying to answer this question the other day, and I prepared a workflow called The Meaning of Life, the Universe, and Everything. It's a bit like this, but I think the answer is pretty clear. Come on. Does it answer?
I mean that's pretty much expected. So what is quite impressive is how quick KNIME did it. So it might give Deep Thought, the supercomputer, a run for its money. But anyways, I'll let the people out there decide it. But speaking of integration and speaking of the universe, question to you, Lisa. What does the KNIME software universe look like?
I'm glad this question is easier to answer than the question of the meaning of life. I actually do have a slide for that. So the KNIME Universe actually consists of a huge technology ecosystem, but I think the universe is quite difficult to understand. It's very complex. That's not at all what KNIME is. Some people refer to KNIME as the Swiss Army knife, and I actually like that term as well. What you can see, so with KNIME Analytics Platform, you can do all sorts of things. You can connect to all the common cloud providers. You can, of course, have access to other reporting tools. For the coders among us, you do have the option to use real written code with our scripting extension, so you can do Python or KNIME scripting inside your KNIME workflow. You have access to powerful libraries, for example, for machine learning and deep learning with the Keras or TensorFlow integration. So you do have a lot of options, and it's very nice to use it and integrate it into existing processes. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, that's quite impressive. So Lisa, if there's people out there, right, like me, they want to get started with KNIME Analytics Platform version 5, right, the new one. How would they go about it?
So, how do you get started? It's not that difficult. No worries. Just follow a few steps. First of all, get the early access. So, yeah, first of all, please download it first. Otherwise, it's hard to get started, right? Then we have prepared a Getting Started guide. With the Getting Started guide, we mapped we tried to map or write down the most common steps to get started for the beginning. It always helps if you don't know how to get started, then we have the new cheat sheet. So we have, it's the early access KNIME Analytics Platform version 5 cheat sheet, and on there we collected the most helpful and most commonly used nodes for spreadsheet users. And last but not least, we do also have tons of example workflows. It's all on a dedicated collection page on the KNIME Community Hub. So please, there you can always check it out and use them also as blueprints or just to learn how it works.
Thanks, Lisa, and thank you all for your attention. That's a wrap from us. If you have any questions, please come and visit us if you're in Berlin at the KNIME Learning Center booth. You can also grab one of these cheat sheets there for free. If you're online, please go visit the website. Just Google for KNIME and cheat sheets, and you can also download it there for free. Thank you very much.